So I find myself again squeezed into a little dressing room at Pizza Express Live in London for the second night of Nashville Meets London Music Festival. This time I'm joined by Darren Hobson from Southern Companion. I've got beard envy, Darren.
It takes nothing more than just a disregard for a shaving. It just happens.
That's good advice. So we started well. Well, Darren, welcome to Filthy Hog. So how does a chap from Hampshire end up fronting a sort of country folksy Americana group?
I still haven't figured out how to answer that really, but it's just, I mean, it's just music I've always loved, you know, and even when I was younger, although I didn't really grow up around that sort of music, I kind of always lent towards the slightly more countrified versions of the stuff that my parents listened to. And then when I met my wife, sometime in the 50s it feels like, it's a long time ago, her dad, so my father, or her dad, introduced me to a lot of the kind of Laurel Canyon scene stuff. More of the singer-songwriter stuff like Jackson Browne and Neil Young and Crosby, Stills and Nash. And then I find the best advice I was ever given is when you find some music you like, find out what those artists liked, and then you end up going back, and of course then you trace it back and you find the original, you know, the roots of the classic country stuff, and it's all just like big branches of a tree, you know. And so I've always, as me and a bunch of guys that I grew up with, we all kind of were into that sort of I guess it was before it was called Americana. I think it was maybe more like the old country or no pressure kind of scene. And it's, you know, we just all sort of had this sort of idea that we were the only people that knew about it, especially where we live. And we were playing all these stuff in these, you know, little bars, and when we were kids, and people were looking at us like, you know, why don't you not do any Oasis? Something like that. And then, you know, and then it's just we just never stopped loving the same sort of music. And I think, for me, the beauty of Americana is that it is a blending of all the classic American genres that I love. You know, it is country, but it's blues, it's soul, it's everything all wrapped in one. And I just never stopped doing it. And then suddenly, well, probably not suddenly, it probably happened like all these things happen over time, but I was unaware of it. There was a scene here which happened without me having any clue about it. And then my wife, again, you know, is much more, has her finger on the pulse about these things than I do. She said, there's some stuff happening. This was maybe like 5, 6, 7 years ago, something like that, and here we are. Just music that was just made for the love of making music, and now there's actually people that listen to it, which is still catches me unaware sometimes.
Well, you're 3 albums on, so presumably somebody's listening. So the last one, Shine a Little Light, released in January this year, I think it was.
You have to tell me. I think it was January or February, I can't remember.
And self-produced in-house, as I think you've said before. How was that experience of sort of going it alone?
Well, it was, I mean, I should put a caveat on self-produced. I self-produced the first album, and it sounds like someone who's self-produced their first album. And then the second record, 1,000 Days of Rain, we worked with a producer called Ron Thaler, which was a good experience, you know, working with someone who's got that sort of clout and knows exactly what he wants. But it turns out us artisty types can be a precious little bunch of, and I'm not saying Ron turned my songs into that, because he didn't. He actually brought a lot of really good ideas to the table. But it just made me think. I think I'm a better writer now than I was when I started out, and I wonder what we could do. And then Simon Johnson, who's we've known each other literally since we met in the schoolroom, music room at school, and he's already produced lots of other records for other people, and he plays guitar in the band, and we just during the making of 1,000 Days of Rain, we sort of discussed, next time we make a record, why don't we just produce it ourselves? And So Simon produced the record, really.
Okay.
I was just sat on the sofa at the back of the room, agreeing a lot, you know, and sticking my 5p in when it probably wasn't needed. So yeah, it's self-produced as in within the house of the band.
Yes. Yeah.
But if Simon produced it, really.
Okay.
I just gave myself a co-production credit.
So Southern Companion's been described as a collective. You know, what? How would you describe it to somebody who doesn't know your music and the dynamic?
Well, it's funny the way, you know, it's one of those strange things. It started very much by accident, and so in the early days it was a collective. It was me and my songs, and then you know, over the years of, you know, in my career as a musician, I've met and worked with a huge selection of different players. So it started out very much like, you know, who was available maybe for a couple of gigs. And the lineup changed quite a lot, and even now, you know, the nature of the work, you know, we all, in one form or another, make our living playing music. So that means that sometimes the boys aren't available. It has solidified into more of a defined unit of you know, the 6 of us. But it is. I guess it's like a lot of bands tend to be. It's a band, but it's mainly me, and I want to say driving it or flying a plane, but you shouldn't let me drive or fly anything. That's probably why it's so directionless half the time. So yeah, it's my thing, but it's with you know, a very close knit bunch of guys that we all love each other's playing and love each other's company, and I just can't afford to take them out with me all the time.
Okay. Fluid, I think it's fluid.
Yeah.
So you had your first UK headline tour earlier this year. How was that?
It was. I nearly called it the shit or get off the pot tour because it was one of those. If we don't do this now, we're never going to. I'd done a bunch of like support stuff, but on my own. Again, because of the logistics and the expense for taking a band around. But we never really done a run of shows with the band. It's always been one here, then maybe like a festival, and then there's always been maybe like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month in between shows. And I've always had this feeling that bunch of players, if we got to play consistently, and actually maybe God forbid it, rehearsed something, it would be we'd be really tight. And so when it came to the new record, it was very much an independent thing, and I knew it was going to probably lose money, and it did. It just didn't lose as much money as I thought it would, but it lost a bit of money. But I was like, I just want to take the band out on the road, and see how it feels to be playing with these boys night after night. And we did, and we had a great time. We slummed it. It was a bit Burton early at times, 3 minutes in a room and Travelodge, but it was good fun. Yeah.
Is there more coming?
There's nothing at the moment, just because everyone's involved in other things, but. Certainly, I've already. How unprofessional of me! I didn't turn my phone off. Right. I've already started working on material for the next record. What sort of shape that record will take, I don't know. But I would hope, all things being equal, that by the end of this year, early next year, we'll have started tracking some stuff and started, or at least knocking it into shape in a rehearsal room. I don't know. I've got a hankering to do something slightly more stripped back maybe next time. I love the band dynamic, and I'm really proud of the record we did and the one before. But I've never. Simon was really pushing me to on the last record to do just more sort of acoustic stripped back, and especially live takes. And there's a song we did, and I've always sort of shied away from it. I've always I need to hide behind a big wall of band, and then I'll sing it 20 times, and then we'll tune the.
Yes.
But one of my favourite vocal takes on the record was there's a song called "Few Too Many Hours," which is just me sat with a guitar. I was scared to death, but we did it. And I kind of fancy maybe pursuing something a bit more down that route next. But I don't know yet. Okay. We'll see.
Well, we will keep an eye out then.
Nice one.
Brilliant, Darren. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Follow Southern Companion and Darren on sort of socials. We'll get things on the screen. Magic of television. And look forward to tonight's gig.
I really look forward to it. Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's a good, wicked lineup. I've been keeping an eye on the Nashville meets London stuff for the last couple of years, going, I want to do it, I want to do it.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
nice
there you are.
Yeah.
Brilliant, Darren. Thanks very much.
No worries, man.